be shocked. South Korea is a virgin country. I'm not joking. South Korea, when people say a woman got into an accident, 99% of the time means she got pregnant before marriage. To handle this accident, a wedding is held immediately. If someone suddenly announces a wedding, Koreans say that they must have had an accident. A child born out of wedlock faces immense social suffering while growing up in South Korea. Even though the child has done nothing wrong, they are seen as the product of an accident. Hello everyone, this is KAHEVA, all knowledge of the world, head, heart, and soul. Don't be shocked. Which OECD country sends the most children overseas for adoption? South Korea is the #1 country exporting children overseas. Why is this happening? During the war with North Korea, South Korea was too poor to raise children, so many of South Korean babies were sent for adoption to countries like the US. But even now, as a developed nation, South Korea continues to send children overseas for adoption. Why and why? South Korea has a severe low birth rate. There are so few children being born. Many of the people worldwide worry on behalf of the country that they will gonna disappear. There is even talk of passing a law that would give $100,000 in cash for having a child. Since children aren't being born, rural homes are emptying out, turning villages into republics of elderly people. The average birth rate in Korea is 0.6. At this rate, South Korea will disappear on its own. We are disappearing. The average out-of-wedlock birth rate in OECD countries is about 50%. What is the rate in South Korea? Less than 5%. This means that people rarely have children before marriage. Unless they are married, people don't give birth to a child. Even when they have a kid before marriage, they often give birth in secret and tell nobody. Some even go far as the life of their newborn, which led the government to enforce strict laws. They conduct through investigations and they impose life sentences to such behaviors. The reason out-of-wedlock births are rare and the overall birth rate is low in South Korea is due to South Korea's unique culture. That culture is that South Korea is a virgin country. I'm not joking. This means that in general, men and women, both male and female, do not sleep together before marriage. Since men and women do not sleep together, children are not born. A secret survey would likely reveal that the number of male and female virgins is much higher than expectation. We must be honest about why children are not being born. Genetically and scientifically, the ownership of a child belongs to the man. If you insert a coin into a vending machine, you get canned coffee or paper cup coffee, right? The owner of the coffee is, who is the owner? Is the one who inserted the coin. The vending machine is the woman and the person inserting the coin is the man. Therefore, the owner of the child is the man. Elon Musk understands this scientific fact exactly. The same goes for Trump. The same goes for my father. There is even a secret discussion among close acquaintances in South Korea. Some say that President Yoon Suk-yeol's strange martial law measures were due to him having no kid. They say he's a president who only raises dogs, so he did something weird. Some South Koreans even say among close friends, some South Koreans say this. A person who has never raised or had children is just a theoretical talker, not a truly sincere person. My father says children are eternal creditors. Whenever I make a request to my father, he jokingly calls me, "Oh, my creditor," and he fulfills it. Under the influence of Confucian culture, KAHEVA's father takes full responsibility as the seed owner. The one who inserted the coin must have responsibility. Getting formally married, having children within the structure of society, and dedicating one's life to those children. That is the role of a parent. If a parent fails to fulfill this role, both the parents and the child suffer immense stress in this Confucian society, South Korean society. When a child is born, the man, the owner of the coin, must actively raise the child. However, due to hormonal imbalances and strange gender ideologies, men who inserted the coin refuse to take responsibility, which is why children are not being born. If women can easily find jobs and participate in economic activity, they do not tend to have children. The stronger women's rights are, the fewer children are born. This is because women prefer to pursue personal happiness rather than spending time raising children. For more children to be born, men must take on half of childcare responsibility. Why aren't children being born in South Korea again? It's getting interesting, right? Men and women need to have accidents for children to be born. When cars crash, they go to the auto repair shop. And when men and women crash into each other, they naturally go to the hospital to have their baby. Even now, when an unmarried couple sleeps together, people say that they got into an accident. And if pregnancy occurs, they immediately hold a wedding. Why? Because they must cover up the accident. Otherwise, they will be violating social ethics, which is to get married first and then to have a baby. They don't want to be seen to others as the people who violate social ethics and morals, which is worse than being an actual criminal. The United States despises criminals. They are very harsh on criminals. But Korea and other Asian countries despise those who violate social ethics and morals. What happens if a woman gives birth without getting married? A woman who has a child before marriage faces enormous social stress. The mother suffers and the child also experiences lifelong social stress. It is unimaginable. Confucianism indirectly humiliates unmarried mothers. It also indirectly humiliates children born out of wedlock. South Korea has the highest side sue rate in the world. It is not criminals who commit side sue. Criminals don't really commit it. But it is socially respected and popular people who take their own. Because in South Korea, people are judged more harshly for breaking social ethics and morals than for committing crimes. In South Korea, when people say a woman got into an accident, 99% of the time it means she got pregnant before marriage. To handle this accident, a wedding is held immediately. If someone suddenly announces a wedding, people say they must have had an accident. A child born out of wedlock faces immense inner suffering while growing up in South Korea society. Even though the child has done nothing wrong, they are seen as the product of an accident. Due to Confucian culture, society views them as accident-born children. Because of this, mothers love their children so much that they send their own child overseas for adoption, hoping they will live happily. Young Korean mothers and fathers understand how harsh Korean society would be on these babies. If any overseas adoptees from South Korea are watching this KAHEVA's video right now, please understand this. It was never that they abandoned the child. It was about ensuring a happy future for a child born out of love. Of course, the mother cried endlessly, using tears to relieve the pain in her heart. I mean, KAHEVA feels like tearing up too. So just the other day, maybe a few days ago in South Korea, a South Korean celebrity and famous actress took her own. The reason? This former child actor, she was caught drunk driving and she crashed into a utility pole. This video footage of her driving recklessly was uploaded on YouTube and she was ridiculed mercilessly. She was unable to withstand the Confucian humiliation. A beautiful world is one where people know the truth. Truth goes beyond knowledge. It is understanding the beginning, the end, and the essence of humanity. This is KAHEVA. See you in the next video. God bless you.